All right, we are going to go through this lesson. As we watch the video, questions will pop up and you'll have to answer them. And this is a summative grade, so make sure that you are paying attention. We are going over some notice and note skills from nonfiction texts. And I'm going to try it this way. Notice that there's a little stop sign here with the hand. That's that you want to stop when you notice something and you want to note it. And we'll go through two different things you want to notice and note when you are reading nonfiction today. So the first thing you want to notice, I'm actually going to make this smaller for us for now. The first thing you want to notice is numbers and stats. And there's nothing fancy about that. Numbers and stats. You want to, right here where you can read it, numbers and stats. You want to notice if you're reading a nonfiction article, where do they get their numbers? What do the numbers say? What do the statistics say? It says here, when you are reading and you notice specific numbers, number words, or amounts, stop and ask yourself. And here's the question we're going to ask ourselves. Why did the author use these numbers or amounts? So let's go back to this thing that I made smaller, and let's take a look at that. It says Lincoln's Gettysburg Address honored 50,000 plus soldiers who were killed or wounded in one battle. So that's our first notice to note number, 50,000. Why do you think the author used that number? Maybe because it's a big number. That's a lot of people to have died in one day and in one battle. Let's keep reading. So wounded during one battle, the Battle of Gettysburg, it was only about 300 words long. Even though it was very short, it reminded us of all that was lost in that battle and must never be lost in our nation. So like we pointed out, this first number, 50,000 plus soldiers, seems like it's an important battle, but it said only about 300 words that the Lincoln speech was. And I bet they wanted to point that out, that even though it was a really important speech, doesn't have to be really long. Things don't have to be really long to be important. So I noticed the 50,000 and the 300 words long. I noticed those numbers and stats. See? Simple things there. All right. The other thing we want to notice is quoted words. So we're going to stop when we notice quoted words. And it says, when you're listening and you notice the author quote a voice of authority, a personal perspective, or other words, stop and ask yourself, why did the author quote or cite this person? And one thing I'm noticing from both of these is this word right here. Why? Why did the author do that? So I'm going to add a sticky note. Why? That's the question. You want to be wondering why something is quoted or why there are words. So let's read this section. And it says citations may be categorized as voice of authority, personal perspective, or other words. So let's read this. It says, drought relief did not come this winter in California. People are talking about what they might do if this pattern continues and their water dries up. Oh, here are the quotes. So I'm noticing that right now. I've never seen it this bad, and I've lived here all my life, said resident Tom Payton. So here's some quoted words right there. There has been a drought of some extent for multiple years now, and it doesn't look like it's going to be ending anytime soon, said meteorologist Jason Myers. So I'm noticing that the people that there was a resident, so a person that lives in the area that's the drought, and the meteorologist. So this is a weather person, the person that looks at weather models and uses computers to understand weather. Both of these people, if I'm thinking of why the person did this, remember this question? I'm thinking why the resident is because that person is directly affected, and why the meteorologist, that person knows a lot about weather. So those seem to be good people to quote about a drought somewhere. All right. Those are my two examples. And now we're going to go on to the assignments that you are going to be reading, or that we're going to be reading together during this video. So here we go. It is about chocolate milk. So we're going to be reading this one for that says no, and this one that says yes, about should chocolate milk be served in the cafeteria? So we're looking for numbers and stats and quoted words, and we're wondering why. So let's read this first one. See if I can make it a little bit bigger for us. Oh, not turn it, make it bigger. There you go. So it says, Dear Miss Fox, I'm writing to tell you that I, as a student, I am in full support of chocolate milk ban of a chocolate milk ban in our district. I like chocolate milk as much as the next kid, but according to my research, the sad truth is that we shouldn't be drinking it every day at school. So right away, am I noticing any numbers and stats? I don't think so. So here we go. Why it's loaded with sugar. One small carton contains about 1.5 teaspoons of added sugar. Here's my notice of number right away. So I'm going to take my stop and put it right there. And it's going to say, so I need to ask why. What's the purpose? What's the purpose of these numbers? Why do these numbers exist? It seems like it's telling us how much sugar is in chocolate milk, and that would be important to know if you're debating it. All right, the American Heart Association advises kids to consume less than 3 to 4 teaspoons of added sugar per day. That is another notice. Oh, geez. I don't want to turn it. There we go. That is another notice and note, so I'm going to add that right there. Do you see where I'm going with this? One small carton of milk is at lunch is half of your day's added sugar. So half is also, I'm going to make that a little smaller. Half is also a number. So I'm going to add that to my notice and note. All that sugar and chocolate milk plus the sugar and snacks all of us eat throughout the day can really add up. In the long term, a diet high in sugar can make you more likely to develop certain diseases, including obesity and heart disease. In the short term, too much sugar gives you a rush of energy that makes you tired, which means you're falling asleep by 6th period. It's true that chocolate milk contains calcium, protein, but is chocolate milk really the best source of those nutrients? Many experts say no. Ann Cooper, the director of food services in Colorado School District, said in an interview with the Washington Post, trying to get students to consume calcium by drinking chocolate milk is like getting them to eat apples by serving them apple pie. I'm going to stop. Did you notice something? Those were quoted words. So I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to ask this question. What are the qualifications of this person? So I'm going to bring this here. What are the qualifications from this person? This says, and the director of food services. So that, to me, seems like a very important job, that people would understand what nutrients kids need and would have a lot of knowledge about chocolate milk and what's in chocolate milk. So that seemed like a good person to quote. All right. When you think about it that way, serving chocolate milk at school seems silly, right? Plenty of other foods, fish, leafy greens, almonds, provide the calcium and protein that kids need. There is also, of course, regular milk. Fans of chocolate milk claim that taking away the chocolate option leads kids to drinking less milk overall, but that isn't the case. In 2018, San Francisco tested a chocolate milk ban in 5 different schools and did not experience a dip in milk consumption in any of them. All right, this is a little bit too small now. I know that those in favor of chocolate milk say that it's healthier than soda or juice, but think about it. Is that good reason to keep it around? Thank you for considering my opinion. All right, so I'm just noticing there were 4 different points where they had numbers and stats or quoted words. So that question of why were those important? I would say the purpose is to explain the health benefits or negative benefits, or the not negative benefits, but the health issues of chocolate milk and the qualifications of that person was the fact that, or the qualifications of that person that they quoted. Let's see if I can go back to it again. Should be right up here. Allison Cooper, the Director of Food Services. She's qualified to talk about food if she's the Director of Food Services. Okay. Next reading. So again, we're looking for numbers and stats and quoted words. So this person, Michael, was against chocolate milk in school. We're going to read this one, and Lizzie is for chocolate milk in school. She says yes. So looking for numbers and stats and quoted words. Dear Mrs. Fox, you recently announced that our school district might stop serving chocolate milk in our cafeteria. I thought it might be helpful to hear the perspective of a student and chocolate milk lover on this important issue. After extensive research, I've learned that chocolate milk has many health benefits for kids like me. Although it may seem like just a tasty treat, it's actually filled with nutrients, including calcium, vitamin D, calcium, and vitamin D. Calcium is especially good for kids my age because we are still growing, and calcium helps build healthy bones. In addition, chocolate milk contains protein and healthy fats that keep kids full and focused throughout the day. Of course, regular milk provides those same benefits, as do other foods like spinach and nuts, and with less sugar. But let's be honest, banning chocolate milk doesn't mean kids will choose something healthier instead. A study by Cornell University found that chocolate milk ban can lead kids to drinking less milk overall. And have you ever heard a kid say, "There's no chocolate milk. In that case, I'll have spinach, please"? All right, I'm going to stop because they had a quoted words there. And let me ask you this. So we need to ask why. What are the qualifications of this person? So it looks like they're just quoting a random kid, and they don't even identify a kid. They don't even have qualifications. It's just a person that drinks milk, and most people can drink milk. So I'm not really sure the qualifications for that person are very great. All right, we're going to keep reading. I'll have some spinach, please. What would probably happen is that we drink more soda or sweetened fruit drinks, which are just as sugary, if not more, but don't have the same health benefits. Here's another problem: food waste. When schools in Los Angeles began serving only plain milk in 2011, tons of milk and money was wasted. Hardly anyone drank the plain milk, and much of it ended up in the trash. For this reason, LA schools put chocolate milk back on the menu in 2018. I'm noticing some numbers and stats there, just some year dates. And I'm noticing right away, what are the purpose that these numbers have? These numbers have just that purpose of telling us a year when that happened. So it doesn't really add to or take away from her argument. That's what I'm noticing. All right, we're going to finish up reading. Clearly, chocolate milk deserves a place in our cafeteria. I hope that you will take my points into consideration as you make your decision. Sincerely, Lizzie Brewer. So I'd like to point out that Lizzie had a few quotes and numbers, but not that many, especially when we compare to, sorry, I just want to make this smaller. It's not working. Especially when we compare to the other one. There we go. So, because the qualifications for the first quote weren't really any, and the purpose of these numbers were just about the dates. So if we go back to Michael's thing, his had to show what chocolate milk was made out of and how much sugar was in it. And the qualifications was from a person who is a food director. And that's a pretty qualified person to talk about nutrition. So that is our discussion for Notice a Note nonfiction.